Good morning. Welcome to the last and final video of this trip to Western Australia. As I said on the end of the last video, I would most likely be home by the time I got this one going, and I am indeed back at the Sunshine Coast, Queensland. A bit of a story about the trip to Menindee. I had worked out that I was going to drive down there and take another road from Menindee that'll take me back onto Wilcannia. Well, it turns out that road was 130 kilometres of dirt, so that wasn't going to happen. I need to be reading maps a little more carefully. Okay, leaving Broken Hill for the first time today, heading down, and I get an opportunity within 30-40 k's of going across the Darling River floodplain to put the drone up just to give you guys a look at how wide and flat this country is, and this is only a very small part of the floodplain. It travels all right from here right down as far as the eye can see, and you can see as we pan around how the vegetation is formed as the water runs. So here we are in Menindee, only quite a small town, not much here. There's a school and some shops. One of the main things, well, a couple of main things that Menindee is noted for in particular is the lakes. It's got a couple of big freshwater lakes which attract tourists and campers. There's a lovely camping and caravan area up beside one of the lakes, and I assume they'd be used for water sports and whatnot. And the other thing, the lake is very important use. It appears to supply the water. There's a very long pipeline running from Menindee, so I don't know, but it seems to supply the water up towards Broken Hill. Whether it's Broken Hill's water supply or not, I don't know for sure. And of course, the other thing is a fairly major historical place, because it was one of the camps where the explorers Burke and Wills stayed on their trip from Victoria up to prove the size and the direction of the Darling River. They went right up to the Gulf. I did learn, like most, some of this stuff back when I went to school. Burke and Will's expedition, and this was where they'd called in. It was one of their camps on the way up to the Gulf of Carpentaria to prove the existence and how big the Darling River was. I think from memory this is either Camp 34 or 43. And believe it or not, according to the storyboards, the Menendee Hotel was already there. So that's not the existing hotel. It's somewhat more modern than the old hotel. I don't know what happened to that. I believe it's standing on the same place. However, have a look and see what it is. I took some videos of the storyboards, whether you can make out the story or not. Some of them are a bit faded and old and crazed. And some photos of some old buildings, so enjoy. This storyboard's very well done. Goes along a fence and around the corner and up the other way. Gives a pictorial history of Menendee with some photos and some words and whatnot, and I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to read much of it. The second bit of it along this fence was okay, but I was a bit too far away from the first bit. Anyway, pause and see what you can glean out of it. as I go over the bridge here, I'll pan to the left and you can see the weir. That's part of the lakes and the pipeline running beside the road. I don't know whether it's the one that feeds Broken Hill, but it's not unreasonable to think it is. And finally, after having returned all the way to Broken Hill, because there is no other road to get down to Wilkenya, off we go, and some photos for you to check out on the way. Back in the mid to late 1800s, in this district, most of the produce from the district, and certainly the supplies into the district for the settlers and station owners, came up the river, the Darling River, by boat. And that there building you're looking at that now is an old bonded store building where the supplies that needed storage under bondage were kept. And the old courthouse and police stations. It's a town of the times. It would have been a bustling town back in the day when it was the centre for produce out and supplies in. Now it's just a little quiet backwater with some really quaint early Australian architecture. And because we're out in the middle of nowhere, put the drone up and just have a look around. You can see the Darling River. Probably gives you a good view of the Darling River more than anything else. There's not much to see of Wilkenya as the town goes. But if you spot that tree line down around there in front of you, that's the Darling River. and it's a long drive. It's quite a distance between Wilkenya and Cobar, and as you can see, both sides of the road here, there's not a stick of grass alive. There's a lot of wild goats out here too. If you look at the trees, all the foliage in the tree comes down to the same level. That's as high as the goats can reach. Goats seem to survive out here. They seem to be well fed and what have you, but nothing else survives in this kind of country, that's for sure. And you've got to admit, although it's dry and barren and we can't count the grass along the side of the road, the colours are just amazing. The greens, the reds, the blue and white of the sky. They go so well together. Stunning to look at. I don't know if the photos does it justice, but they look pretty good. And finally into Cobar. This is going to be where our trip ends. Well, the video ends anyway. Cobar is a very old historical mining town. Goes back to before the First World War. Well, before that actually. That's when the copper mine in the middle of town was its most prosperous. Unfortunately, it was closed down for several years after the First World War because the bottom fell out of the price of copper. But there's still mining there today. There's, I think, the Peak Gold Mine, of which I get a drone footage of it shortly, is still in action today. So it's still a mining town. I spent a bit of time down going around and getting some photos of that's the museum. You can see up ahead there now. Beautiful museum, really well done. Didn't go inside, but there's lots to see around the park around it and photos to get. So initially, we're driving out now to go and have a look at the lookout at the Peak Mine. Unfortunately, the road into it was closed. I don't know why. However, looking at the drone map, I'm right on the edge of it from the airport fly area, so it might be closed to other folks, but if I go up a little bit further outside of the restricted flight area map, I can get the drone up and we can have a look at the mine. So on such a beautiful day, clear blue sky, couple of puffy clouds, up we go to have a look at the Peak mine. It started off as an open cut mine, as you can see, and as time has gone on, I believe you can see it on one of the billboards, which I'll get in a photo later, and as you come to it I'll let you know. It's actually got a shaft that goes laterally from the bottom of the open cut, so they're continuing to mine. They've just gone underground to do it from here. The reason why I didn't go in further with the drone and get it above the mine so you can see is the road I'm on is currently right on the edge of the no-fly zone for drones because of the airport, so this is as close as I could get. Back we go into town. As we come along, you'll see a couple of photos of a little bit of video footage of the foundation from the old Cobar processing plant. This is all that's left of it, and it makes a great sign. And I love the cutouts, the metal cutouts of the miners. So now for some photos. And after we've finished doing that, we're going to have a little bit of a look at the original excavation for the original copper mine. And this is a pretty important monument. It's a monument to the initial discovery of the copper ore body, and the plaque on the side of it gives you a rundown of the people. And around the corner from this monument to the miners, and that's the chimney, just straight up above that is where the chimney stood, as the open cut where they got down, and I'll circle for you. That's one of the shafts that went in where the mining was done underground. Why they dug such a big hole to get at it, I don't know, but apparently it had several shafts put in over the years where they pulled copper from. The drone's not very high. It wouldn't be 20 meters up. I've only stuck it up just to get it over the fence, because there's about a 8-foot chain link fence around the mine, just so I can get some photos of the open cut. And now here's that storyboard I was telling you about, which is on one of the major buildings here in town. It's a great historical record of the mining. And as you see, when we come down a little bit further, you'll see they got some really good drone footage of the Peak mine. And in one in particular, you can see where the shaft goes laterally at the bottom of the open cut. To finish off, I had a troll around town and to get some photos of some of the old historical buildings in the town, including the police station. Actually, in the police station, you see that photo there, see the guard tower in the back? It's actually doubles as a prison. Whether it still does or not, I don't know, but the guard tower was interesting. Anyway, if you like photos, stick by and have a look. If you don't, fast forward to the end. So that's about it, guys. We're going to turn left and head towards Ningdon, heading out of town, heading east over to Dalby, where we'll join up with the Newell Highway, head north to the Queensland border and home. To those who have been along for the ride, I hope you enjoyed the footage I've taken. 28 videos in all, from memory. I think this is the 28th video. There's many gigabytes of images and video footage that you haven't got to see here. Obviously, it's way too much to fit on short YouTube videos. So again, I hope you enjoyed myself. There's just a little bit of video going through to the end here now, just show you on the open road back. And again, thanks for watching. And to those at home, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.